talking kind of quietly today. Think of it as like some ASMR or something to calm down. Anyways, today's pairing is Regulus Black and James Potter, and the only characters that are mentioned are Regulus Black and James Potter. There are no archive warnings, and it is called Night Breathes in the Soft Vastness, and I'll put the creator's name in the description below since I have no idea what that says. The summary is, James visits Regulus's grave for the first time. James didn't know when he got up. He didn't know how long he walked. He didn't know that he would end up here. But for some unknown reason, he found himself standing in front of a rusted gate in the middle of the night. Of course, he knew that graveyard. He planned on never going in. No matter how often he'd get invited, he declined, never wavering. But he thought about the cold, the wind slicing his face like a sharp knife. The promise of warmth if he started moving again, and he did. Surrounded with his inscriptions of strangers' names, he felt shivers going down his spine. All of them had families, partners, stories, maybe dreams. They all meant something to someone, like Regulus did to him. He looked at the dried flowers, the clutters covering the forgotten graves. He wondered if Regulus would be one of them. Before the thought could unnerve him, he forced himself to concentrate on the path he walked on, counting each headstone until he reached the one he'd memorized a long time ago. A lump formed in the pit of his throat. Trying to push it down felt like swallowing a still beating heart, trying to climb out, scraping and leaving him sore and raw. Regulus Arcturus Black, Umbrum Latercidum Invenit Marmorium Relinquit. He found a city, the city of bricks. He left it a city of marble. August 12, 1961 to July 26, 1981. He sat down, knees against his chest, arms wrapped around his legs, silently staring, not knowing what to say, and hating himself for not preparing anything. I'm sorry. He didn't know why he apologized. He blurted the first words that came to mind. It felt appropriate. He could remember doing it before. I'm sorry for being here empty-handed. I didn't bring you anything. I know you would have hated everything, but still, I'm sorry. He knew that most people did that, going to a graveyard, talking without knowing if someone listened, hoping it would help them, maybe heal them. But James struggled. He didn't get the impression that they were more connected, close, that talking about the future or thinking about the past would relieve him. Forlorn and alone, he just felt dejected, resigned. After all, disappointing Regulus wouldn't be unheard of. Maybe you're wondering what I'm doing here, after all that time. What right do I have to just come? But I don't think I have a reason. I don't think I could explain it if I did. After Regulus's death, James blamed himself. If he had been enough, if he had given him a reason to never leave, maybe he would still be with him, near him, where he belonged. He never forgave himself. Time passed, and he started resenting him. He blamed him for abandoning him. He blamed him for not staying. He blamed him for everything. He never forgave him. Time continued to pass, and resentment turned into anger. So much anger, that it smothered him, made him struggle for every breath of air. He didn't come to the funeral. He didn't come to visit. Instead, made of sharp edges and barbed wires, he tried and tried and tried to forget about the wonder of loving and being loved. But James had learned that no matter how hard he tried, it would never be enough. He would never get it right. I miss you. And I hate you for that. So much. I hate you. I hate you. I hate you. Hesitant to disturb the quiet following his decoration, he lifted his head to stare at the sky. It looked infinite but abandoned, deprived of any light. He tried to find a star, any star. He found nothing. A mean voice, maybe his conscience, murmured Regulus might be there, all alone, surrounded by an empty, cold nothing. He ignored it. For a while, he let the predictable battle happen. When it came to an end, the impulse to shield himself from any pain or hurt lost to the frantic need to stop himself from decaying, to stop himself from rotting, to stop himself from wasting away. I can't stop thinking about you. I'm trying to, but I can't. When I close my eyes, I get to look at your smile. I get to hear your laugh. I can almost sense your touch. Almost. And he trailed off, letting out a bitter laugh. It's cruel. It is. I'm waiting and waiting and waiting, but you never come back. You're never going to. You won't be here. You'll never be here again. The foreign, distant certitude he felt disconnected from slammed into him, cracking his ribs, gripping his lungs. It left him gasping, struggling for air. He felt it everywhere, all at once. After getting a long-awaited blessing, the wire snapped. A breach had been made in the barricade. Each sentence streamed out of him, drenching him in blood, tainting him crimson. I have nothing left to do. I just wait. That's all I do. Every day, every night, I wait for a small, short wave of relief in the morning. The one moment I get to forget, I get to breathe. Every inhale, every exhale, bringing life back to me. I can feel it everywhere, all at once. But of course, I remember, I lose everything again. I lose you again. I feel like I'm suffocating again. I feel like I'm dying again. For a second, he almost forgot and found himself back home, surrounded by people they knew and loved, people talking loudly, laughing brightly, not knowing that the worst thing that could have happened just did, not knowing that everything would change, not knowing that thinking about the same sentence over and over again would be the last vestige of their former life. He is dead. He is dead. He is dead. He didn't remember the moment he got what it meant for him, for them, for everyone. Maybe he never did before, frightened by that knowledge, that unbearable burden. Maybe he just hoped and hoped and hoped, but running a trembling finger over the rough edge on the top of the headstone, leaning to trace each letter of the engraved name. It felt like grieving and mourning. He felt himself almost shatter, fragile enough that a gentle, soft whisper of wind would make him fall apart. And I hate you for lying. You told me that nothing could happen without time making it better. It's not. Enough time passed. Time is still passing. Time will never stop passing. Why isn't it better? James could hear himself getting more and more distressed, meaning every word. He tried, but failed to stop his mind from spinning round and round, coming back to the familiar longing for the why and wherefore. Why him? Why me? They were supposed to be with one another, to create a life together. Nothing else would have happened. Why? For the first time since he lost Regulus, he felt afraid, this stifling fear sinking in. He realized that everyone moved on, but he didn't. He stayed right where he left him. He could never leave. He would ache to get a reason, any reason, until his last breath. In that moment, each thought he had tumbled out of him, escaping the battlefield and leaving behind a crumbling wall guarding his battered and bruised heart. I'm scared. I'm terrified. I think I'm starting to forget. I want to remember. I want to remember the sound of your voice and every line on your face, enough to paint it over and over again. I'm scared. I want the world to stop moving, just for a second, or I want mine to stop moving again. I want to forget. I want to remember. I'm not sure. I don't know. Voice breaking, unable to talk more. His eyes fluttered shut. He let himself be submerged by the pouring pain. He let it slit him open, an unstoppable torrent of grief surging. He couldn't withhold it, not anymore. He thought about the long, everlasting time he spent craving and Restart that. Sorry. He thought about the long, everlasting time he spent craving and ending to their beginning, holding on to the faint belief that being here, close to him, would subdue the desperate desire for something, anything bearing a resemblance to a farewell, a promise to find each other again, no matter when or where. But it didn't. For a brief passing moment, he wanted to shout, to appeal God, to implore death, to pray and plead and beg. He wanted for someone, anyone, to get a glimpse of the despair and agony of a purgatory that used to be a life. But he didn't. No one would have listened. No one would have looked at him. He had nothing left. Nothing but the faded echo of a ghost entwined around him. Nothing but a lifetime of being near him. Not close enough to touch, too close to breathe. And that is the end of Night Breathes in the Soft Vastness. I hope you enjoyed. Again, oh wait, there's notes, sorry. In notes, I'd like to thank all of my friends who helped me, comforted me, and listened to me rant about this. Special thank you to Aaron and Sam. I love you. You mean the world to me. Those are the notes. Sorry, I kind of forgot to mention them. Um, anyways, please check out this creator on AO3. Their story and their name will be in the description. And have a wonderful day, night, and take care of yourselves. Make sure to drink your amount of water, eat 3 meals a day. Anyways, have a lovely rest of your time. Goodbye.